looping statements in Python. So first understand about your range function. First understand about your range function. So what is meant by range function? What do you mean by that? Okay. So range function create and return a sequence of numbers. It's going to create and return the sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default. Starting from 0 by default. Okay. And it increments by 1 every time we call. Whenever you're going to be call it, right, every time what will happen, it will increment by 1. Okay. And stops before the specified number. Okay. And stops before the specified number. So the syntax is going to be look like this. The syntax is, we have to tell that range of start value, comma, stop value, comma, step value. Start means from where you want to start. Say like I want to get numbers from 1 to 50, right? Starting position should be 1. Stop means till what number you want to get. The note that I want to give here is, if I mention the ending point as 49, the endpoint as 49 and the endpoint as 50, so the range function will return you till 49 number. That's what I told you. It stops before the specified number. So what is the number specified? 50, right? It will stop at 49. If you want to get 50, right, you have to mention it as 51. Then it will stop it as 50. You have to mention the number before the number whatever you want. Okay. So this is what we are going to tell as second argument, stop. Next one, step. By default, the step will get increment by 1 all the time, guys. All the time it will increment by 1 only. So now if you want to increment by 2, by 3, by 4, whatever it may be, right, go and give that argument. So step is an optional. It is not required to give every time to mention your step. So now where can I use this range function? Where can I use this? I know about the range function very well, but where should I use this, right? So range function can be used on a for loop. Okay. So what do you mean by for loop? For loop is a looping statement available in Python. Not only Python, every programming language will be having your for loop, right? Available in Python, which executes as a definite loop. So this range function for loop will use range function to get execute. Okay, to get executed, what the for loop will do? It will take the help of your range function. So the syntax is for loop with range function. For loop with range function, the syntax is going to be look like as this. So for some variable in range, some variable in range. Okay, so starting position, I want to start from 1 and I want to get 51 numbers, and I want to get my 51 numbers. Okay, there should be a colon specified double forward slash, which is going to be called as a indentation. We have to mention your indentation as a mandatory. Now here write your print statement, print of your some variable, whatever you have been created some variable, right? It will be get pick up here. Now how should I understand this? How should I read this? Now see, now what happened here, the range function is going to be written as from 1 to 50, right? So for example, I'll take as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Let me take an example of 5 numbers here. So now first the sum variable, what it will do, it will go and pick the number 1. Okay, and this number is going to get printed here. What is the output here? 1. So range, right, by default what will happen, the increment factor is set to as 1, right, plus 1. So this 1 is going to be set as 1. Next what will happen, that 2 will be picked up here, right? So the 2 will be printed here. Next what will happen, 2 plus 1, 3, right? So this 3 will be get picked here, and the 3 is going to be printed here. So like this it will go to the till last to the end of your range function specified number. Then once it reaches there, it will exit out, else it will be keep on moving to the last number. It will be keep on moving to the last number. So it will run till to the last number before the number specified. Okay, so now let us see how we can able to implement the same logic inside your programming. So now let me go here and create a new directory called as looping statements as new Python file as, so for loop here. Now so now what I'm going to do is for x in range of, so I want to print numbers from 1 to 50. So I told, right, you have to give plus 1 to the number specified whatever you're looking for, colon. Now let me use my print of x here. Now just go and run this. Now see here, I'll be getting numbers from 1 to 50. I'll be getting the numbers from 1 to 50. So if I'm going to give the step number as 2 here, if I'm going to give the step number as 2 here, what happened here, see, every time it is getting incremented step by 2. Instead of getting 2 here, what happened here, it is getting increment by step 2 everywhere. Once the iteration is completed, before going for the next iteration, it will increment the number by 2. Okay, so like this we can able to increment as how many numbers you want to get increment, step 4 or step 5, whatever it may be, you can able to give like this. Okay, so this is the working nature of your for loop. So for loop can also be used on a iteratable objects. Okay, I'll be explaining you about in detail about iteratables, right? For now just think that iteratable object. Okay, so string is also a part of iteratable. String is also a part of iteratable. Okay, so now how to implement for loop on the string? How can I do that? Is that possible? Yes, very simple. See, the syntax is going to be look like, for some variable. You gave whatever the name you want, give some variable, right? In for some variable in what? The string name. Whatever the string you have, just go and give the string here. So I'm going to keep it as a string or string variable. String or string variable, no matter whatever it may be. Okay. Colon here. Use your some variable. Okay. Now what will happen? It will bring character by character available on the string. Available on the string. For example, let's go back here. I'm going to use for x in, right? Learn Python for better future, right? Learn Python for your better future. Okay. So print of x. Now what happened? You're going to get character by character, character by character, character by character, character by character, including your white spaces. Including your white spaces. See here. Okay. Now let us write a small example which is going to help you more, right? From any given string, count how many number of vowels and consonants available. How many number of vowels and consonants available. So now what I'll do, I'll be applying if condition here. If x equals to a or x double equals to e. So let me use this r. A e I o u. A I o u. Okay. Now here I don't know how many vowels I have. Okay, so that I'm going to give as vowels equal to 0. Initially I'm mentioning a vowels equal to 0, consonants equal to 0. I don't know how many vowels I have, how many consonants I have. So what I'll do, vowels plus equal to 1 or, so what it will do, right? I'll write in a normal way, then I'll explain what I wrote here. Vowels equal to vowels plus 1. Else, if this is not going to be true, then what will happen? Consonants equal to consonants plus 1. Instead of writing this syntax, right, what we can able to do, right? We can make vowels plus equal to 1. This is also going to be called as an incremental factor, or if you want to write this one also fine. Okay. So now what happened here? Initially vowels equal to 0, right? 0 plus 1, 1. So if again, if anything is going to be matching with this criteria, the second time it is going to increment already existing value. Already what is the value? 1. 1 plus 1, 2. So like that it will be keep executing here. Okay. Now see here. For now I make everything to be in smaller cases, guys. When you get to in the strings, I'll explain you how to handle that without changing your string. Okay. So for now just understand this and see, once my loop is completed, right, what I want to do, bring your cursor back to your indentation of your for loop. Else if you write anything inside this, it will be running the loop only. Okay. So be aware that we have to come out the loop. You have to be, the cursor should be in the starting position of this for, right? So then it will think that we are out of the loop. So print vowels, then print consonants. Okay. Now let me run this. So totally we have 9 vowels and 9 consonants, 21 consonants available. So we have totally 9 vowels and 21 consonants. So let's go and count on the 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Exactly. So we got the count as 9. and rest of them are going to be called as consonants, but still it is considering your space also as a consonant. We have to ignore your spaces and you have to write for the better code. So I'll be explaining you how to ignore your space, right? When down the line, when it comes to your strings concept, then I'm going to explain you how to ignore the space. For now, just ignore that. So one more question I have. Let me make it as a question, then we'll discuss the concept. Can I use a else block? Can I use a else block along with my for loop? If yes, why? Right? Yes. In Python, we have a facility to write the else block followed with the for loop, right? So this else block will execute, when the for loop execution is completed. If you wish that some code should be run immediately once the loop is completed, then keep that code in your else block. For example, let me go back to my Python and create a new Python file called as for with else. So now I'm going to use my for x in range of 6. I want to print first 5 numbers case. By default that will be 0, right? So I no need to mention 0 here. Okay, or else if you wish you want to keep it, else ignore it. Okay, so that is optional. So step 3 and step 1 are going to be optional. Okay, parameter 1 and parameter 3 are optional. Parameter 2 is always mandatory. Now let me use my print of x here. Okay, now let me run this. We know that it will start from 0 to 5. I'll be getting the values. Okay, so now no issues here, but I want to execute something immediately which is going to be complete after my looping statement. Okay, so here I'll be telling you that for loop execution is completed successfully. For loop execution is completed successfully. So let me go and run this and see here. What
You
happened?
haven't printed.
Sorry, yeah, I'm looking where it is went wrong. Thanks for that. So yeah, now let me go and run this. You see, say here you are inserting some number of users into the database. Once your insertion is completed, immediately we need to close it. So then we'll be writing your closing function here, right? So in such a way we can able to write your for loop with your else block. For an instance, I don't want to execute my code written inside my for loop. Say I want to comment it in my future. I may use it, but I don't want to comment my for loop. His question is very simple, guys. He's telling that he don't want to comment out the for loop, but he want to comment out the logic. Nothing should be executed inside the logic, right? So he don't want to comment the for loop, but all he want to do here is the logic that is available inside the for loop should get comment out. but he may use the same logic in the further, right? So now, is that possible? Is that possible? Okay. Ideally, Python will not allow the user. Python will not allow the user to have for loop as an empty. It won't allow the user to have an empty case. It never allows the user to have the for loop to be an empty, right? So what you want to do there? So to overcome this problem, we need to use the keyword called as what? Pass. Just use the keyword called pass, right? It will ignore the error. Okay, so in Python, if we want any body to be empty, use a keyword called pass. It will bypass your error, guys. It will be bypassing your errors. So now just see here. What I'm going to do here is, under my definitions, not definitions. Where is it? Under my loops, right? Yeah. So I'm going to create a new Python file called as for with pass statement. For with your pass statement. So I want to use my for x in range of 10. I want to bypass for now. Okay, don't want to execute it. So just keep a pass keyword here. Just keep a pass keyword here. That's it. Now just go and run this. Right? It won't throw any exception, but the logic that you wrote here, right, under that, it will never get executed. So to comment out anything, right, in Python, we use a hash comment code. So like this, we'll be writing your empty for loop without having any code. So the next one we'll see about while I am iterating something in a for loop, I wish to exit out from the loop based on some condition. I want to exit out from the loop based upon some condition. So how can I do that? Yes, user can exit out of the loop. You can exit out of the loop based on some condition, right? Using a keyword called what keyword? As a break keyword. Use a keyword called break and exit out from the loop. Okay, so now let me use the for loop as Python here. For with break. Okay, so now I'm going to use for x in range of 1 comma 50. Okay, so now I'll be using my print of, let me add 51 here, print of x here. So once I meet my x value, if x double equals to 30, I want to break it out, guys. I want to break out of the loop. Okay, so the keyword I have to use is called as break. So once it is going to be x equal to 30, right, then the loop is going to get breakout there. You cannot able to go further. So run this. Now see, the loop has executed only till 30. So where I'm going to use this, say suppose I'm going to read some Excel, right? Whenever I get a blank value, I should exit out of from the current iteration. Then what I'll do, I'll be using my break. Say like I'm going to iterate some list of values, list of employees. Whenever I found the value of money, name equal to money, I need to exit out of my loop. Then what I'll do, I'll be using my break keyword. Right? There are multiple scenarios where we can able to apply your break. So in such conditions, we'll be using your break keyword. So my next question is, based on some condition, I need to skip my current iteration. I need to skip my current iteration and I need to proceed further. I need to proceed further without breaking the loop. Without breaking the loop, I need to proceed further. So it means that I need to give some condition. Based upon that condition, right? I need to skip the current iteration and I need to proceed with the next iteration, but I should not break it. So what happens if I use to break? Then if I'm going to break, then what happened? The entire loop is going to exit out, right? But I should not do that. I should proceed further. So to do that in Python, we use a keyword called continue. Not only in Python, in Java also we use your continue break, but here, yeah, as we're discussing about Python, I'm telling you this. So we use a keyword called continue. Okay. So now let's see here. If x equal to 30 here, right? So now what I'll do here is print iteration plus str of x plus is completed. Okay. So now what happened here? When x equal to 30, right? I want to continue. It means that I need to skip the current iteration. When x is going to be 30, this line number 7 will never get print. So now just go back. Just go back to the iteration number 30. See here, it printed the 30, but what happened? This line is not printed. Line number 7 is not printed. Here, what happened? It skips the current iteration. It skipped the current iteration so that it went away. Okay, but it didn't break the loop. It jumped onto the next iteration. It went and picked the next iteration. So this is the way how we'll be using your continue keyword inside your Python for loops. Okay, not a for loop, any other loop you can able to apply it. Okay, so next we'll see about the another statement called as another loop called as while loop. Okay, so while loop is called as an indefinite loop. It is going to be called as indefinite loop. As for loop uses range function and derived the value by value and having self increment factor. So the for loop will execute for the definite values. So if I tell that it should execute from 1 to 50, it will go and execute from 1 to 50. But while loop, right, it is going to be called as indefinite. So while loop cannot run as a for loop as it does not have self incrementing factor. or a failing condition. It won't have. Okay, what you want to do here is user must need to write condition explicitly to exit out of the loop. Okay, so if we fail to write this, to write the failing statement, if you fail to write to the failing statement, right, then this loop will run as indefinite, guys. This loop is going to be run as indefinite. So how to write this? How to write your while loop? So the syntax is going to be look like, while some condition, colon, then you have to write your logic. So until the condition is going to be fail, the condition is false, right? The loop will keep executing. It will be keep on executing, right? So now let us see how to implement your while loop. So while loop, okay. So now here I'm going to initialize a variable called I equal to 1. I'm going to keep while I is less than or equal to 50. I need to be keep running it. Now see here, print of I. Now if I go and run this one, right? So what happened here? The while loop is, it will be keep on printing 1 only. Why? Because nowhere the I is getting incremented. The I value is not at all getting incremented anywhere. So that this I is going to be called as, this loop is going to be called as indefinite loop. It will be keep on running. At some point of time we are going to get system out of memory. So it should be little careful while writing your while loop. It should be little careful while writing your while loop. Okay. So now what I want to do here is I want to write an increment factor. I want to write an increment factor I plus equal to 1. Okay. So now let me show you how that is going to be run. Now see. So first I got it as I equal to 1. Then yes. Then again it went I equal to 2. I equal to 3. So like that it will be keep executing till at one point of time I is going to be become 51. So 51 is not less than or equal to 50. It will break the loop. It will not go inside. Okay. So in this way we can able to write your while loop inside your Python. So my question is, next question is, will while loop supports break and continue keywords? Break and continue keywords? Answer is yes. Absolutely yes. We can able to apply your break to be have inside your while loop. But remember that we cannot able to write your else, guys. We cannot able to write your else. So can we able to write the else statement? So can I write a else block with the while loop? Answer is yes. My bad. I told you no, right? My bad. It's wrong. So we can able to apply your else block along with your while loop. We can able to write your else block along with your while loop. As how we wrote in the for loop, the same way we can able to write your else block also along with your while loop. So let's go and see how can we implement your break and continue statements in your while loop. So here also, right, once I'm going to meet my condition once I'm going to meet my condition, if I double equals to 30, then what I want to do here is I want to break my loop. If I is going to be 30, then I want to break my loop. So let me go and run this. Right at 30th line, it got skipped out. So if I equal to 30, I want to skip the current one, then continue. So what happened here? It is being continue, right? It is not getting increment I plus 1. As it is skipping, again it is going to come on 30. As it is going to be skipped, so that I is not getting incremented. So you should be little cautious while writing your continue statements also. Okay. So if I equal to 30, then you have to continue. Then what I want to do here is I want to write somewhere to write my I plus 1 to make my I value to get incremented. Okay. So like this we need to write. Like this you need to write. Right. Keep it here. I equal to I plus 1. So now if you go and see here. So if there are any statement available here, write print off my statement here. Right now let's go and run. Then we can able to understand. When it is 30, yeah, in the line number 29, right? It skipped out. See, okay. So like this, we can able to apply your continuous statement, but you should be little cautious while writing your continuous statement in your while. Else, what happened? It will go as an indefinite loop. It will go as an indefinite loop, and then let us see how to write your else block along with your while. So once your loop is completed, right? I'll be keeping as my loop execution is completed. See, once my loop is completed, my else block will get executed. So in this way, we can able to apply your while loop with your else block.